Marcelo Bielsa full transcript as Leeds boss issues epic 8-minute public apology. To Hernan Crespo. Marcelo Bielsa lived up to his mercurial reputation on Thursday as he delivered a fascinating 8-minute public apology to former Argentina striker Hernan Crespo, in response to a question about Leeds' draw at Swansea. The Argentines' Leeds side are top of the championship after taking 10 points from their opening 4 matches. They dropped points for the first time on Tuesday night, drawing 2-2 at Swansea. And when asked about not resorting to a plan B and sticking to his principles at the Liberty Stadium, the 63-year-old went off on a fascinating tangent, reflecting on a life lesson learned over 15 years ago and apologizing to ex-albiceleste Crespo. Here is the answer, which took 8 minutes to deliver via his translator Salim Lamrini, in full, courtesy of Leeds Live. Brian Reed. Marcelo Bielsa threatening to finally make Leeds good enough for everybody to hate again. I always analysis and study the other point of view to see if I have to modify or change my point of view. But the thing I cannot do this because my job is to try and convince people using what I think, that to transmit what produces triumph, good results on a specific moment. In order to convince people I have to believe in what I'm saying. Because the footballer only believes something that he truly believes in. Because when the footballer finds out that the head coach was trying to convince you and doesn't share the point of view they were trying to transmit to you, it just abandons you. I'm going to tell you a serious mistake I made. The kind of mistake you don't forgive yourself. I was the head coach of a great striker, Hernan Crespo. He was a very generous player. I trained him in 2 different moments. When he was a young player and then when he was already an experienced player. When he was a young player I told him once that I thought he was a player with maturity, but I was lying to him. I was trying to strengthen his self-esteem. Giving him a skill that I didn't think he had. After some time when he got the maturity I told him now you're really a mature player, not the same player as before. What did he think? He thought, how come you told me I wasn't mature and now you're saying I am? So you lied to me? Because before you told me I was a strong player but you didn't believe it. This is the kind of thing I cannot forgive myself. I'm right not to forgive myself. I tell you this not to just tell you a story. My goal is to publicly apologize to Crespo because I know I didn't tell him the truth. It was a lecture forever, I learned that lecture, but it was something I already knew. Because if you lie to your son, in order that your son gets something from this artificial moment of strength, the lie, you will just resolve the problem for that day and that moment. But you will have actually instead of strengthened him, you will have weakened him in the future. Because you will have convinced him he has a feature he is only going to have for a small amount of time. You have resources that you assimilate forever and this is having maturity. But when you are not mature you can have some resources you will have when you are a mature player, but just for short amount of time. The mistake I made with Hernan Crespo, to get him involved was to tell him he was like this forever and actually that did not work. Because he went even further than I told him before. It's a nice example because it's Hernan Crespo. A very good player,